Tonight is Zayin Adar.
What?
Zayin Adar Aleph.
Wow.
Moshe Rabbeinu's yard site and Yom Haledes.
Is it Aleph or Beis?
Oh, that's a discussion
How do you
tonight.
figure that one out?
Is it Shana Mubarak? So we have to know first of all if that year was a Shana Mubarak, the year of Moshe Rabbeinu's Histalkos. So then we would know what to do. If it wasn't a Histalkos, so that's what we have to figure out, number one. And even if it wasn't a Histalkos, then we have to figure out what do you do in a year when it's a Shana Mubarak? Is it the other Aleph or other Beis? The same thing, by the way, is when there's a yard site. You know, when someone has a yard site in other Beis.
I had that with my mother.
So what do you do?
I said you're outside on other base.
Yeah. Well, the year when
It was not Mulberries.
the year you spoke to Rav about that, and that's what he said you should do.
I believe he said that, but I have to re-ask again.
Re-ask.
I have to re-ask.
The yard is coming up soon, right?
Yeah.
So ask, because it seems like a lot of shitas hold that the ikar is other aleph, and other bays you do as an extra. But I don't know the minhag. I'm not clear on the minhag. So you have to speak to someone.
It's kind of strange. I know there's a few days later was Purim. And here you make a yard site now. Purim is a month and a half.
Oh. Well, let's take a look tonight. There's a Gemara, there's two Gemaras. Let's take a look at one Gemara in Soita discusses the Yom Haledes of Moshe Rabbeinu. We know that the Yom Haledes and Moshe Rabbeinu was Noiled and Niftar and Stalak on the same day. Let's take these two Gemaras. A Gemara in Soita about the Yom Haledes and a Gemara in Kiddushin regarding the Petira of Moshe Rabbeinu. The Gemara brings down a pasuk in the middle of the Amud by the arrow that Bastia, the daughter of Parei, she went to bathe and she saw the baby in Moshe Rabbeinu. Vatachmal olav, she had rachmanis on him. Vatoymer, she said, Miyalde he'ivrim zeh. This is a child from the Ivrim, for the Yidden. Asked the Gemara, Mano Yada, how did she know whose child it was? She saw he had a bris milah.
Maybe also that the fact that she had Rachmanis. Normally a goy doesn't have Rachmanis. Maybe the fact that she felt Rachmanis on him.
Nah, she wasn't so cool.
That's how she knew.
So Zeh, now the pasuk says, "Vatoymer miyalde Ivrim." Why does it add the word Zeh? Miyalde Ivrim. This is from the child of Ivrim. What's Zeh? There wasn't a bunch there that you have to point out this. Rabbi Yochanan melamed shenisnava shalemidaita. She was saying a nevuah without her even realizing it. Her words entailed in it a nevuah. Zeh neifel vein acher neifel. This one fell into the water. Vein acher neifel, but no other babies are going to have to be thrown in the water. What does this mean? V'hainu damar Belazar. This is what Belazar said. Ma'idisiv. What is this that it says in the pasuk? It says in the pasuk in Yeshaya. Miyichiyomru aleichem, and when they will tell you. Dirishu el ha'oives. You should go and seek out the oives v'layidoinim. These like
soothsayers.
Yeah, hamitzaftzim, tzaftzifin, v'mahagim. They like they chirp and then they
chatter, chirp.
Yeah.
Like a Chinese. So
says the pasuk said Rebbe Lazar, tzoifin v'yoidim at tzoifin. The tzoifim, they just, they don't know what they're saying. Mahagim and yoidim mahagim. What this lashon is that they say things. It's like a zulzul. The pasuk is saying. You go and seek them out, but they don't really know what they're saying. They say something, but they don't know really what they are saying. Ro meishin is the same thing over here. Ro meishin sheisel v'mayim uloike. The Mitzvim saw the yidoinim, the oivis of the Mitzvim. Saw that Mashiach Yisrael, that the one who's going to save the Yidden, b'mayim aloike, is going to be stricken with water, by water. No, because he hit the water, he had the rock, because he himself hit the rock, so he's going to be punished because of the water. But they saw something, and they didn't know what it was. They said, you know what? It says b'mayim aloike, so that's the way how we're going to get rid of the Mashiach Yisrael. It's b'mayim. They saw something, tzoifin, but in yoidim atzayf. They see something, they don't know what they're seeing. He says,
Amdu. It's not a stira, because if he's the Moshe Yisrael, so then it's later on that it's going to happen to him. How's it going to be when he's a baby? How's that going to stop it? Maybe they're just wasting their time.
I guess the one that will be Moshe Yisrael b'mayim aleika. Good
Right,
kasha.
You know what I'm saying? Like what?
If he is Moshe Yisrael, then he's already going to be Moshe Yisrael.
Exactly. Right.
And they felt someone that could stop it. Amdu v'gazru, they stood up and made a gzeira, kol habein hayilat hayoyret hashlichu. That all the boys should be put into the river. Keeping the shad yual, the Meisha, once Meisha was thrown in, Amr they said, Sulech chazinim. Ki ahu sumana. We don't see any more of that sign. His batal gzeira sayu. So they're mavatal the gzeira.
What is this shad yual? Once they threw him in the water?
Yeah.
How did they know it was him?
They saw in their signs.
They didn't see the bad foreboding any longer.
Right. They didn't realize that he's going to be struck in because of the Mei Meriva, because of hitting the rock.
So why did this taka stop the chat chirping? If it wasn't the thing that stopped Moshe? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point?
It's a good kasha. What? If they were anyway seeing only something in the future, so why would it stop now? Why would the simim be bottled by them? That's what you're asking.
Yeah. Forget this caused this Yeshua. Yeah, this caused it worse for them, because at this point they stopped hacking them a chinik. Because he went into the palace of Paroi, they couldn't kill him. This was mamash this was the Yeshua for him.
Episode. This is maybe part of it. Part of the tzayfim and the yodim tzayfim.
In other words, this was a
They're basinish. They don't even know anything. They see something. They don't know something. It's all tzamished by the day. It's all tzamished. They think that they see that we dealt with it, and they don't. By them, since they interpreted that's what it was. So they saw that he went into water, so it was over with by them. In their mind, they saw he went into water, and that was it. So they were able to tell that he was thrown into water.
Could it also be that, like, maybe it was like in a way it was a good thing, but it was also a tsar, because he was no longer being raised by his parents. He was now going to be raised he'd be raised in a goysha place. So maybe there was a tekufa. It was like maybe episode shtickle. You read the information.
So Lamaisa, said the Gemara like this: V'hainu da'amar Reb Chama bar Chanina, Mai dichsev heima me meriva sheravu. These are the me meriva sheravu. Heima, these are shero. It's the gnine parei. That it's the gnine parei saw the toe and they made a mistake with it. These waters. V'hainu, this is also the Kamar Moshe when he said Sheish meis elef ragli. Amalam Moshe said to the Yidden, B'shvili nistaltum kolchem. You were all saved because of me. Because I was thrown in, you were all saved.
What? Not open now.
If Chanina bar Papa, Amar, what day was it? Oise hayoim esrim ve'echad b'Nisan hoya. It was the 21st day of Nisan, when Moshe Rabbeinu was thrown into the water. Amru malach yeshar v'nei HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the malach yeshar said before Hashem, Rebbeinu Shalom. Mi sha'asid loimer shir al hayam b'yoyim zeh yilka b'yoyim zeh. Someone is going to say in Chaf Aleph Nisan was the 7th Shvi Shal Pesach. From Tez Vav to Chaf Aleph is 7 days. So it was on Chaf Aleph Nisan that he was thrown into the water. So Malach Yeshar said to Hashem, the one is going to say Shir Al Hayam, is this going to be punished today?
What's going on?
What day was he thrown into the water?
The 23rd, the
21st day of Nisan. Malach Yeshua said to Hashem, "Yibayne Shalom, Misha Asa Lei Meshira Al Yom B'Yoyim Zeh, Yilke B'Yom Zeh."
Why would he? Oh, that's when he said Raglis Sheish Moshe of Ragli Yisrael.
No. That day that he was thrown into the water.
So why should he be like on that day?
It was like by being thrown into the water. It was a danger. How was he going to survive in the water? They would have left the basket there. That was the ending.
It was a nace. It was a nace.
It was a big mess. And that's occurred after.
Miriam was a Nevuah, right? So she put him in the water knowing, obviously, that he was going to do something great.
They threw him in the water because they had to throw him in the water.
She was a Nevuah. Didn't she know that Moshe was going to be the Mashiach of Israel? She had a chush.
She was saying this Nevi'us, but
they said they couldn't keep anyone Kitoivu. He had Shechina on him. So she knew that he was special.
She always said, but L'maisa, there was a Gzeda, they had to put him in. They were coming all around to all the houses.
He was in the Sakana saying at that time.
Yeah.
The Gemara saying he was the Sakana.
Yeah, the Sakana. So she said, so Bein Shalayla Misha. So Reb Acha, that was Reb Chanina Bar Papa. Reb Acha Bar Chanina Omar, Oisa Yoyim Shisha B'Sivan Hoya. That day when he was thrown in was the 6th day of Sivan. Amalach Shaz Fakadosh Baruch Hu Bein Shal also the Kabel Torah Mehar Sinai B'Yem Zeh Yulka B'Yem Zeh. Someone in the future is going to be Kabel Torah and Sinai. Should he be punished on his day?
I don't understand, but obviously the fact that he's been Makabel Torah, he can't get punished.
Zalbakasha. Maybe this tsar itself, even the tsar, that's for the temporary tsar. So it says the Gemara like this: we have two opinions when it happened. Was it on 21st of Nisan or the 6th of Sivan? So said the Gemara, B'shloim elamanta Amar B'shisha B'Sivan. Now we're going to talk about when he was born. It makes sense according to the one who says that it was on the 6th of Sivan. Mashkachas L'Gimei You know, we find 3 months. It says that she wasn't able to have him. The Mitzvah made a mistake in the cheshbon of how long Yocheved was pregnant. She was really pregnant with Moshe 3 months before Amram took her back. But they only counted from when Amram took back Yocheved. So they thought there was another 3 months. After 6 months he was born. After 6 months when Amram took back Yocheved, he was born because it was 9 months. And then for 3 months they were able to hold him in the house. After 3 months, then she had to go hide him because she knew that they were watching. So then she took Moshe and put him in the river. So now he had 3 months.
Couldn't they see that Yocheved was not pregnant anymore?
Maybe she was home, she didn't leave the house.
Okay, but the fact is they were going into the houses to see what's going on there.
After 9 months.
Just like they saw that she was pregnant, they would have seen that she's not pregnant anymore.
Right? And 9 months they're going to come in. So she had 3 months. She had 3 months. So we know. So according to the one who says it was the 6th of Sivan, if you're going to count back 3 months, if you're going to calculate 3 months back, it's going to come out to Zayin Adar. Meshkachas L'Gimei Yarchi, the Amar Mar B'Shiva Adar Meis. The Gemara says in Kiddushin and Megillah, the Master said B'Shiva Adar Meis, B'Shiva Adar Neil Moshe. Moshe was passed away in Shiva Adar and he was born in Shiva Adar. V'Shiva Adar B'Ad Shisha B'Sivan Tlasa Yarchi. From Zayin Adar to Shisha B'Sivan and Vav Sivan is 3 months. That makes sense. But according to the one who says that when was he thrown into the Nilus, was Chaf Aleph Nisan Heichim Mashkas. So where do you have 3 months going back to Adar? Because 21st of Nisan.
But it's most of 3 months.
To Zayin Adar is not 3 months. Zayin Adar Chaf Aleph.
Most of Adar is.
And so the Gemara, what Peretz wants to say, Oisa Shanim wa Beres Oisa. That year was a Shanim wa Beres. It was 2 Adarim. How do you have the Cheshire of 3 months? Rubi Shal Rishon, the majority of the first month, Zayin Adar, so the majority, the 23 days of the rest of the month. Rubi Shal Acher, majority of the last month, because 21, the first day Chaf Aleph Nisan he was put into the water. So he had 21 days of that month. Then Tzai Sham and a complete full month in the middle. So that will be the Cheshvan of 3 months, according to this opinion of Chaf Aleph Nisan. It's not a full, complete 3 months. It's a majority, it's around an average of 3 months. Shenke, according to the other opinion, Shisha B'Sivin, it comes out Mamish 3 months Kipshutai.
They say the for you to get a race, the Alter was conceived on Yites Kislev, and he was born on Chayel. So it's 9 months minus 1 day. Moshe 2 here. Vav 7 back to Zayin Adar. It's not 3 months Sean, it's minus 1 day too. I'm just making it interesting and hard.
Yeah. So Maisa, we have here Machloikis and Gemara. Machloikis and Gemara. Everyone's masking that it was Zayin Badar. The Shaila is, wasn't Muberes. The second opinion says Muberes. The first opinion wasn't Muberes for Pashtus. The first opinion, because you're counting 3 months back from Shisha B'Sivan. It means Sivan, Iyar, Nisan going to Adar. So you're counting back. So it's the second month. Live after was Muberes. It was the second month for sure. If it was Muberes, it was the second month. And if it wasn't Muberes, then okay, it wasn't Muberes. But the second mean Kuli says Muberes means that according to this opinion, tonight is the night. Because Shana Muberes Mamish is saying Kviyas. It wasn't Muberes then, and it was in the first month. So too now is Zayin Adar. So we should be, the day that we should be fasting or be choygig on is Zayin Adar. Tonight. Zayin Adar Aleph.
It's tonight the anniversary of the fire of the nace that we have with the fire, or is it of the base?
Tonight?
Zayin Adar.
No, Zayin Adar.
Kedusha celebrates either Rishon or Sheni.
No, it's
Huh?
Oh yeah.
But that's
Usually do it on Rishon.
They don't do, today they don't do it Zayin Adar. Not Lubavitch at least.
What?
Not to what?
Not Zayin Adar Aleph.
No, they do Tezayin Kislev.
What?
Shortest, it's like the shortest day of the year.
No, it's also the only one that can fall.
Not a fair.
And there's a show they do it on Zayin Adar. The Chevra Kadisha
Yeah.
and Zayin
No,
Adar.
they make a Suda.
Yeah, here they don't. Here they do Tezayin
They
Kislev.
make it through after the
There's
time.
different manhagim.
All you need about the Suda, huh?
They fast on that day and they make a suda at night.
Exactly.
So they take a short winter day. Well, Maisa, how do we know, Take, that Moshe was niftar on Zayin Adar B'chlal? This Gemara talks about the Moledis Zayin Adar, but it also doesn't bring the Raya that he was born Zayin Adar. It just says that as a fact. It was just a fact. Just
How
a
do they know?
cheshbon.
Right, how do they know?
Where does the cheshbon come from? The cheshbon comes from the Gemara in Kiddushin. The Gemara in Kiddushin, Lahlam Echad, says like this.
One second, but we also know that he died on the same day that he's in the title, right?
How do we know this? This is all from the Gemara in Kiddushin. Tani Idach, the Gemara says,
Where's this?
second page, second side. Called in a Braisa, the Shiva Ba'ad Meis Moshe, the Shiva Ba'ad Noilet. Minayin Shiva Ba'ad Meis. Shenemar says in a pasuk, Vayam Mashal Moshe Eved Hashem. It says in the ending of Zayis HaBracha that Moshe was niftar there. Uksiv, it says in the pasuk, Vayivku b'nei Yisrael Moshe ba'arvis Moav Shloshim Yom, that the Yidden cried over Moshe for 30 days. Uksiv, it says in Yeshua, the first pasuk of Yeshua, V'hi achrei Moshe Eved Hashem, after the passing of Moshe. Uksiv, it says, the next pasuk, Moshe Avdi Meis, Moshe, Hashem says, Moshe, my servant, passed away. Va'ata, now, kum avar, go over the Yarden. Uksiv, it says, Ivru b'kerev ha'machana, further psukim in the beginning of Yeshua. Go pass through the machana, amidst the camp. V'tzivu sa'am lemer, tzavu sa'am lemer, command the nation saying, Echinu lechem seda, prepare to take with you food. Within 3 days, we're going to go over the Yarden. And when did they go over the Yarden? Uksiv, Va'am al min yarden be'esel l'chodesh harishon, the 10th day of Nisan. In the 10th day of Nisan. So now we have an easy cheshbon to make. We know that they were sat Avelus 30 days.
30 days.
Then they were. Hashem told Yeshua, "You have another 3 days. You're going in to cross the Yarden. 33 days. When did they cross the Yarden? The 10th of Nisan. So make the cheshbon backwards 30 days.
How did they know that? How did they know that?
Look in the Bible. Where's
that from?
The line starts with the Chodesh. Also from Yeshua.
Yeshua.
Oh, Yeshua.
All these psukim are from Yeshua. You see on the right side? Yeah. Say mehen, take out from them now. Shloishim v'shloish yam la'afreya. Go back 33 days. You learn out from here. Shebeshiva b'adar meis Moshe. So we have really clear psukim for Shiva Adar meis. We can clearly deduce it from the psukim. There was Zayin Adar. Menayin shebeshiva Adar noil Moshe. Here it's already more of a limud. Where do we know that Shiva Adar was the Haylo Meledes? Shenema v'yoyim aleihem b'meya v'esim shana anoichi hayoim. Moshe said to the Yidden, I am 120 years old today. I can't anymore go out anymore, and as I did before. Now he said he was 120 years today. Why didn't you say I'm 120 years? What's the stress today? What's the meaning of the word hayoim? There's no limit from it. Ma tamaloim hayoim. Hashem completes the years of tzaddikim from day to day and month to month. I give you complete days to your life. So Moshe Rabbeinu had a full, complete life of 120 years, from Zayin Adar to Zayin Adar. That's why it says, and that Moshe was talking the last day of his life, and he was talking to the Yidden, and he says, today I have become 120 years old. So Shiva, and that day was niftar. So and that we know Zayin Badar.
So that's pretty clear. I mean,
so we have Zayin Badar. Yeah, one's from a limud of the word Hayoim, and the other one's from Pasha from the Psukim. Says 10th of Nisan, you got to go back. So we have Zayin Badar, Zayin Badar, Neilut.
Wow.
Now it doesn't still tell us over here which other it was with the Shana Badar. That we have the other Gemara in Saita, where the Gemara brings two opinions. The one Gemara, one opinion said that the day he was thrown into Yarden was Vav Sivan, and you make the Cheshbon back 3 months, Zayin Adar. So if it sure wasn't Adar Aleph, it doesn't tell us it was a Shana Mevaris B'chlal. Maybe according to the first opinion. Maybe it was a regular year, Shana Pshuta. And if it was a Shana Mevaris, it's the second month. However, according to...
So how do we fix it?
According to the second opinion...
How would you... if we don't know it's Mubarak or not, how you know which one? If, like this year.
Oh, what do you do when...
What do you do this year?
If we say the original year was not a Shana Mevaris, a Shana Pshuta, then we wouldn't know.
We don't know at all.
Oh, so what do we say? What's the Ikar Adar? How do we view when we have two Adarim? Someone has a yard site, for example, or Yom Haledes, and in a Shana Pshuta, in a regular year, and now it's a Shana Mevaris. What should he do? That's the kasha. Which Adar is the Adar that we say? We know Purim we keep for the second Adar.
Yeah.
A Purim is a Gemara says Mismach Gula L'Gola, that we have the Gula of Purim next to the Gula of Yitzis Mitzrayim. However, who says that that's the same idea for all Inyanim?
Can I
but if the person died...
We know the year Moshe Rabbeinu died?
Yeah.
So then why don't we just go back 120 years from then and see if it was a Yeshana Mubaris?
Because they were Mekadosh Al Pi HaChodesh then. So.
Al Pi Bria, I mean.
Mekadosh Al Pi HaChodesh.
Oh, so there was no fixed calendar, nobody know.
There's no way to know. That's why you see all the...
There's no records, right?
So the Shaila is B'chlan Halacha. It's not only Negeah for Zayin Bad, it's not as Negeah L'Poyel, but for Negeah for people that have yard sites and other things. When do we celebrate? Bar Mitzvah.
I know my mother
When is the Bar Mitzvah?
1 week before Purim. How could you say the yard site would be a month and a half before?
Because it has nothing to do with Purim. It's a date on the month. You're connecting it to Purim. It's the date on the calendar.
I'm connecting it as relative.
I'm just telling you.
Relative.
So when someone says it was
Now, how
relative.
could you say? How could you?
It was
celebrate
relative
your
to Shabbos. It was 2 days before Shabbos, and this year it's going to be 5 days before Shabbos. It has nothing to do. You have to go by the date on the calendar. You have to go by the date on the calendar. Now we have to know, do we Keveya, Adar Aleph, or Adar Shem? Let's take a look. One of the Rishonim to discuss is the Trumas Hadeshin, the third page. He asks the Shaila.
Where, on the other side? No,
Third page, yeah.
this one here, right?
Third side. Shaila.
Which one?
Shaila.
Third
Simen
page.
Reish Samach Dalet. Right in the
It says
middle.
on top, Trumas Hadeshin.
Right there, yeah, you're right
With the
there.
red over
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
This one over here.
Shaila. Misha niftar hoire ba'adar v'shana pshuta. Someone whose parents were leilenu niftar in an Adar in a regular year. Kishigiu shnoisei ibur be'eza Adar yatzim. Which day? Which Adar should he fast? V'yom merkadesh or baruchu. Rishon and B'sheni.
This is a Ma'aseh Shoya
Yeah, a Shaila.
that he had.
Yeah. The Trumas Hadesh and Shilas, actually, he wrote himself the Shilas.
Oh, so then why didn't I have a
Shilas that
I
he
have a
had,
Shiloh and a Shiloh.
but he wrote the Nusach of the
Can I
Shilas.
ask a Shiloh and a Shiloh?
Yeah.
Why did he just say Misha Niftar one? Why does he have to be Moshe Tzar? One parent. Why does he have to say Hara?
Not sure.
It's just a general term.
General term, right?
Just-
Either
just-
parent, like either
Yeah, but
parent.
why be you're not supposed to be Moshe.
Either parent, basically. Either or.
Why can't he start with something happy like Misha Shenoilad? But Adar Aleph, when is
He
this?
didn't
bar
write
mitzvah?
out that you should darshan from it.
I know, but you every chachamim be.
No, I don't think it's. I don't
Does
think
a
it's really
chacham
true.
speak with a measure? The Trumas Hadeshin was a rishon. He wrote a sefer. He's one of the Purushim on the Rambam, isn't he?
No.
Or the Shulchan Aruch. Where
Rabbi
is he?
Yisrael, you're mixing with someone else.
Oh yeah, all right.
Rabbi Yisrael Iselin. Rabbi Yisrael Iselin. L'maisa, so he's like Tshuva. Yire seems the Yasa Berishin. Someone should he should do it in the first month of Adar.
That's interesting.
Why? V'nektinen ha'itaima v'shem de'inyin adoyim v'shem noda yin kvora v'shana b'chedesh pleni. Let's compare this to a neder. Someone who makes a neder on a certain day of the year. So how are we going to deal with a certain day? He's neder every year on Adar. I'm going to do this and this day in Adar. So how are we going to deal with it?
He didn't specify.
Didn't say which Adar.
It was Mubaris, not
Right.
Mubaris.
But Adarim, the halacha is hanoider las is davar ploini ba'adar. Someone who makes a neder to do something in Adar, yasa ba'adar rishon. Should do in the first Adar.
How do we know this?
The Alfin and Adar Mishtaris. We learn out in Adarim from Shtaris. The Chis of Parak Koinim Yain and Adarim. Almaisi Hassam brings over there the Pliga and Meir B'Yehuda. Meir and B'Yehuda argue on this. And the Meir Savar the Koisim Mishtaris. The Shal, when you write a star, when you write a get, you write a star. Do you write Adar Rishon? Which one is the regular Adar, and which one do you have to write? It's Sheni or Rishon. Which is the Adar you're going to write plain Adar?
Depends what year it is. Mubaris or.
But if it's a Mubaris, you don't have to write both Rishon and Sheni. One of them is Adar, and the other one is either Rishon or Sheni. But one of them is the regular Adar.
The year that's Mubaris, don't you specify?
That's the Shiloh.
Oh,
Why?
that's the
Which
Shiloh,
one has
okay.
to be the specific?
Yeah, but he's saying here that we don't even know. He doesn't even say that it was. He doesn't bring
Yeah,
up the
it's
fact
talking about
that's
it.
Mubaris or.
Koisim Ishtaris Adar Harishan. Adar Harishan. Vasheni Koisim Adar Stam. You write Adar Harishan in the star. And the second month, when it comes second month, you don't write Adar Sheni. You write Adar Stam. Diu Stam Adar Mikri. According to the mayor, whenever someone says the word Adar, he means the second Adar. So, the first one is the one that you write in the star Adar Harishan. Rabbi Yehuda Savar, Rabbi Yehuda holds, Koisun Adar Hasheni. No, you write Adar Hasheni. Varishan Koisun Adar Stam. Do you Stam Adar Mikri? The first one is the month that's called Adar Stam. That's the real month of Adar. And that's the one that you write Adar in the star. So you write on a get that's written, and Zayin Adar, you write Zayin Adar. Or any star.
And does he mean that's also the Iker Adar?
Yeah.
That's also what he means?
Now that's what people refer to as Adar. Bechorah.
But why would you...
Which one's the added one and which one's the original one?
Right, so if this first one is the added one, the original one, then why don't we do Purim in it?
For a side reason you'll see soon, because of Mitzvah Gula Lagula. for a side reason, l'chora. But it's all other issues we have to down. We can't. Purim is a special limud. Everything else we have to still have as open for discussion.
Ain't been other reason understand.
That's another thing we're going to discuss.
Right.
Ain't been other issue. We each a lot of different. Where can we bring this out? It's not a clear discussion in Gemara. So to try to find inferences, the Rishonim are trying, the Achronim are trying to scratch different places out where we could learn out. So one limit is learn out from Nadarim. Pasha, learn out Nadarim from just like Nadarim is like Shtaris. The din by Shtaris is Machloikas and Meir B'Yehuda. And the Gemara says Nadarim, you learn out, you do like Shtaris. If someone says he know you did to do something in Adar, he says Stam Adar. So it's the same Machloikas and Meir B'Yehuda. And who's the halacha like? Pasuk Sham Ashiri, Geb Yehuda, the Rosh, Paskins like Geb Yehuda. That the first Adar is the main Adar.
Oh yes,
Tzarechiyun he mentions Tzarechiyun and Maimon B'Chus Nadarim and the Rambam B'Chus Nadarim Mashmat seems the Savar B'Chus like a Meir. Seems like he held a like a Meir the Rambam. Well, Lamaisa he wants to be noited to Matadashim that you should go like the Rosh who passing like a Yehuda. So just like by Shtaris and the Darim, the first Adar is the Iker Adar. That is the original Adar. So to over here, when someone has a yard set, he should do it in the first Adar.
It's Mustavra, no, because normally after
you had the month, the regular month, and then you had another month, right?
Shvat comes Adar. So why should this? Why should?
Or someone will say,
yeah, we want to know the other way around.
The Adar that's next to Nisan is the
Iker. And
this is the other next to this, and just
right?
we made it double happiness. We added.
That's Balabatish how everyone looks. Balabatish the way you look. That's the way people understand it. Always the second one is the
Moisiv one. I always looked at it the other way, actually.
Because halachically, because we always put Purim in the second one, which gives the first one as
Shvachkeit.
Yeah.
But it's really not the case.
Not the case over here.
Look at the Raya now. It's going to be the Raya from what you brought up.
Well,
not only that, also by Yom Medicine, we paskin that it's the second other.
That's what it is.
The what?
If someone was born other Aleph,
what is Taka the minute?
When is someone's Yom Medicine? Other Aleph or other base?
Comes the minute from the way you did with Hamushka, to say both Bedlock, which you were born very bad.
What about Bar Mitzvahs? I think it's the first, no?
I don't know.
I think they're machmer with the first.
I never heard Bar Mitzvah.
I think they're for sure machmer with the
Tonight
first.
is only Vav, right?
I don't believe anyone wouldn't put on tefillin lid the first. So we put anyway 2 months before, but I'm sure it's the first. Because by yard site we paskin
the first.
By yard site we paskin the first. I don't see why should Bar Mitzvah be different. If the year he was born was a Shana Tmima, Shmana Pshota,
yeah,
l'chora he has to do the first.
Really?
L'chora.
I can't believe it.
L'chora.
My shviga's yard site was really yesterday. I didn't know. We keep it on the other days. My shviga and my shvager. And tonight,
you know what? Maybe there's different minhagim. I'm not bucking the minhagim l'poil. We have to find out what the minhagim are because he's also saying saying you do the second Adar.
I usually do the second Adar because
no, it's learned out.
I'll tell you. If you're asking me what it's, I don't know the minig l'poil, but what it's in the Shulchan Aruch, the first Adar.
But why is according to the what's Rabbi Yehuda that the other Rishon is the stam?
Yeah.
Why is that? What's the svara behind that?
They don't say that the svara is here. Actually, just says it records the machlekes. Which one's the ikar? It doesn't say what's the svara. Which one's the added order?
I hear the other one, but maybe more likely because that's that Purim that's connected. That the other Shen is right next to Purim, so therefore the Haisafa would be other Rishon in relation. That's
the way a lot of people look at it because of
Purim. Logically.
Right, but on the other hand, you could say when you go through the month of Adar, we're going through when in normal year, how do they do a Shana Mubaris? Shana Mubaris is only at the ending of the second Adar. They realize you need to make a third. At the ending of the first Adar, you realize the Chacham Sol you need to make another Adar. They made a second one. Now we have a calendar. But it was like you went through the whole Adar. And now you created another Adar just in order to make a Shana Mubaris, to make sure Shamar is Chodesh Aviv. This is the real Adar.
So why don't you make Purim on other vision then? Like his question. Hello.
What? I think you have up until Lamed Adar.
No, maybe that's not Torah, but with the Rabbanan at least. I don't know what's the right of the Rabbanan, but Ma'aseh, they're not supposed to bear the year after Tishrei.
Okay.
And there's another thing.
Gedenk nicht, I don't remember.
Why don't make Purim like he has?
Other Shima, they talk about the age of the animals. The halakha is that it's determined by the secular level.
Uh-huh.
You want me to?
Maybe it's a chumrah. Maybe it's the chumrah.
Why don't make Purim like his question is? Why don't you make Purim on other Rishon?
Because Purim is a special limud that we learn out. You're going to see in a minute. Let's take a look at the
Has to be
Gemara.
next to Pesach, 30 minutes before Pesach.
Let's take a look. Oi, near another, it seems to me to bring another raya that the first month is the Iker. The parak kama the Gila, the first parak Megillah, b'shmaitz the Ein Bein. And the sugi of Ein Bein, there's a whole bunch of Mishnayos in the beginning of Megillah, Ein Bein. Ein Bein Pesach Rishon Pesach Sheni, Ein Bein Adar Rishon Adar Sheni. A lot of Ein Bein. There's no difference between this and this except for this. It's a whole bunch of Mishnayos and Gemaras. It's a famous section. Peligi, Rav Shimon Gamliel, Rabbi Lazar. Machloikis between two Tanoim. Rashbag, Rav Shimon Gamliel Savar. Kol ha-mitzvah neigin ba'adar, neigin al sheni. All the mitzvahs that are neigin adar, we do them in the second adar.
Kol ha.
Rabbi Lazar Savar, neigin al rishon. We do them all in the rishon. Or Pasuk Talmuda Hilchas like a shbag. The Gemara passing the halacha like a shbag. That all the mitzvahs that are done in adar, we do in the second month.
What kind of mitzvahs are you referring to?
Like Purim.
Purim.
Yeah, mitzvah shloich manis, talis of yoinim, kiyas Megillah, Mikra Megillah. Parachala, the Gemara asks over there, Hasam, Bishloim Rabbi Lazar, it makes sense, Rabbi Lazar's opinion, that you do everything in the first month. The time of day mavin al mitzvahs. You shouldn't push off mitzvahs. You have a chance to do in the first one, do it in the first month.
Depends.
Allah Hashim Gamliel, my timer. Why does he push it off? Mashani, the Gemara answers, Ke lisme geula legeula. Pirish geula shushan, legulas mitzrayim. To make the gulas next to each other.
It's very schwer. Like, why don't...
So when did it really happen?
You can't make the calendar according to what makes Svarad. Is this other?
When did it
Or is
happen?
it not other?
We don't know. It could be that you could do. You have a choice.
Oh, so you have a
Chazal.
choice. I mean, this is like a little
Pick and
hard to
choose.
understand.
Pick and choose.
Is it other or not? Is it other?
The Amazazai.
And yet, other does, other does.
Yeah.
No,
Look at
that's
this.
not how you do it.
I just joking.
Maybe not. Maybe take. But we don't have any way to be conveyed. There's no kvias. You have a choice.
Then like do the chuver, do both, like in Yerushalayim.
Yeah,
Well,
why don't you do both?
In
One
times of
have the outside-
Chazal, they could be conveya. But we might have to be a little.
Why can't by Lagabi Yartza? Why can't you do
Gabi Yartzeit,
You
the
can
way
do
I
both. Why
understand
can't
is
you
the
do
minig
both?
is, the way I understand the Yartzeit, the minig is, they do the first order and the second order they do as an extra. That's what the Ramah writes.
It's Lamanov Shach. If this month.
I thought Chabad Paskin, this is second order.
It could be wrong. I don't know the minig. Someone has to tell me the minig. Enlighten me with the minig.
The best way to do is do both of it.
I've been through,
Most people say
Let's-
both.
which is the Iker?
You don't hold the fast thing, so.
Which is the Iker?
Yortzeit for Moshe Rabbeinu Baruch.
It's a
We hold on the second Yortzeit.
No, for your personal. No.
Chol ha-mitzvahs ha-noyegim ba'odar, shkolim, v'zocher, l'geula shushan shaychi. They all have a shaychis to Gula of
I
Shushan.
can tell you that my in-laws, that the father is in Adar.
Well, how-
Shino Sheni.
So he was in Shana Mebeberes. They do
okay.
it. They do it.
The
both.
Shana Mubarak, anyways. Hakdim shikli achoidesh l'shikli Haman. The reason why we give shkolim is to be near Purim before shikli Haman. For Haman gave his shkolim tachas shverish, we want to give our shkolim. U'mechias Amalek, we read Pasha Zachav of Purim because we want to read it before Mechias Haman. Benoi, who's a grandson of Amalek. U'Pashas Para v'achoidesh l'gulas mitzrayim shaykh l'choidesh Nisan. Because v'achav Nisan hukam Mishkan. Shein Nisan v'apara, then we have the Paraduma. So Lamaisa, all the mitzvahs have a shaykhs to the second month. Avo kol heichad li shaykha time to l'smei gula l'gula, lo'oyla mazlina bas the time to vina mitzvahs.
Of the Rishon.
Ah, he says always we go with the klal aim avina al mitzvah, except when you have mitzvah gula l'gula. You have certain reasons, but otherwise, if you don't have that reason, let's revert back to the first svar of aim avina al mitzvah. So he's a right from the Gemara. Look, we should do everything in the first month. In the case of a yard site, l'shayich midi l'smeich Gula Gula. There's no shaychas a Gula Gula, it's a yard site. L'chein azmi, kach is in basa time and evin and ala mitzvah, yasa berishin. V'koshki, niftar b'shnasi iber berishin, sheyasa leilam berishin. Obviously, if it was a Shana Mubaris, that original year,
For sure.
the Rishon, for sure you're doing the Rishon. Aber hamedina dem niftar b'shnasi iber sheni, yasa leilam b'sheni. If it was niftar in the shnasi iber in the second month, you'll do it always in the second month. The Kalam, it's easy to understand. He brings a raya that someone else, the Maril, also said like him. So the Maisa, this is the tshuva the Maril that we have to go based on the first month when it comes to yard side.
My wife told me just now her mother passed on other base. So we're going to miss her yard
Was
side.
that a great day here?
Yeah, it's other base anyway.
I recall
that's
one
no
time
problem.
someone
Her
told me.
brother's yard site was on hay, and my daughter's Yom Haledes was today involved, and we didn't celebrate it.
No, we should tell.
To the more right, I recall one time I met someone who told me clearly, I remember yard site, and he told me that he clearly does, the first one is the Iker,
Wow.
and the second one is,
Yeah.
he does something in the second. Well, that is based on Ramah in Simin Tov Puf Samaches, and the Ramah writes in Shulchan Aruch, the Mechaber says, in Shulchan Aruch, we don't have it on the paper. The Mechaber says, "Kisheira yom shemeis ava ve'imay ba'adar v'ashan muberes yisana ba'adar sheni." You should do it in the second month, according to the Mechaber. The Ramah says, "V'yesh oimrim yisana berishin." Some say you should do it in the first month, the tainus of a yard side tainus.
Shana Mubaris?
Yeah.
Why is that?
When the parent was passed away in a Shana Pshuta.
Oh, you took a
Now
Shana
it's
Mubaris. Oh, now it's a Shana Mubaris. Oh.
Im loy shemeis b'shnas iber ba'adar sheni is noyig and l'sanas b'sheni. V'chein ha-minig, says the Ramah. The minig is not like the Mechaber. A minig is l'sanas b'rishon. Those that have the minig to fast on the rishon. Miu yesh machmir l'sanas b'shneim. Some are machmir to do both. So I saw someone one time do that the Iker thing was the first one. He davened for the Omid for the first one salvation. The second one he also said Kadeshim. He didn't go to the Omid, but he said Kadeshim. So I think all those that have the Shah, I think you have to ask a Kasha. If what the Yoim goes over, you should ask the Kasha for Shiloh from a Rav.
If you do both yard sites, so what's the
Of
Shana?
course, but some people only do the other Sheni.
So that's whatever.
You could be Machmer both, but you have to do the main
an
thing.
intention to make it Iker or B'meila
Seder, no, if you're doing both, you're doing both.
You're doing both. So what? You don't have to have an.
Good, but
Not
again,
everybody's going to do that.
some people do the other sheni only. You don't have to. You don't have a chiv to machmer. The minig is to mis'ana berishin. Yesh machmer and l'sanas b'shneim.
Just be machmir because it's a suffix whether which is the yik and what's the tofu.
So the
Now.
bottom line of this whole thing is that there's no clear answer.
Yeah, the Ramah says.
No, yeah.
We hold other
You're
rishon.
covering all bases. You're covering.
What?
I say the bottom line of this whole thing is that there's no clear answer.
The Ramah holds you have to do the first
That's what
other.
he holds, but others hold different.
What do you mean he holds? He's the Rabbi. He's our Pesach, but he
You
holds.
say who?
That's what he
ours,
holds.
Who's ours?
All of Ashkenaz Jewry, the Ramah is the Pesach Achron.
Listen, Machlokes is not new to Klal Yisrael, but we have a psak. So we have a psak of the Ramah.
Unless for Chabad
For
Chassidim.
maybe
Right,
Taka the
if Abba
Svardim.
disagrees.
Could be Taka the Svardim, Taka like the Mechaber. I don't know what the minig is by the Svardim, but it's possible that they following the Mechaber, which they do a lot of times.
And
Follow
that's
the
the
Mechaber.
Mechaber says what? Oh, the Sheni's Dicker.
Mechaber says that all the Sheni's the Iker, yeah?
What's the reason why Mechaber says that for?
Doesn't say a
Doesn't
reason.
say.
Now, let's take a look.
It's very confusing.
Let's take a look.
Not what's the svara is why you have to. If you're saying if you're taking a position, there's some sort of wisdom behind it. What's the reason behind it?
Lamaisa,
If you have any machlokes in the Gemara, they all have svaras here.
Smichas Gula Gula.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
It's
one holds
my
that-
Venus and mitzvah smichas
Because
gula.
we're doing all the misses in the second one, so then the second one has the chashivas and kedusha of Purim.
About the sheni.
So if it has the kedusha and chashivas of Purim, so why shouldn't it have everything in other?
But it's in by your side is different.
Maybe all this is whole different.
Because that has nothing to do with Smichas Gula.
Right.
It has to do with Ein Mavrin Al Mitzvahs.
Right.
As therefore you have
So
to
you
say...
can say both status. You can see both
It's the
status.
best way to do both. You cover yourself. Hedge, you know.
Well, nice that the tshuva from the
You don't know.
Yavitz, the Yaakov Emden,
Yeah.
the son of the Chacham Tzvi, as a tshuva in his She'ilas Yavitz, discusses about Zayin Adar. Well, what about, and he says that, you know, that the Magen Avraham, by the way, also brings down this Tumas Hadesha, La Halacha, that Zayin Adar is the first one, is the Iker. Not only yard sites, Zayin Adar, everything's the first one's the Iker. The Maise, he says that my father, the Yavitz writes, the father is the Chacham Tzvi, held that the Iker is to fast on the second Adar. For the Zayin. So much Zayin Adar, Moshe Rabbeinu, but same thing.
Yeah.
Now, over here actually has a special reason for Zayin Adar. He's not discussing general yard sites. He says, since Purim, you do in the second month, he felt it was connected. Because the Gemara says, when Haman threw the Pur, he was very happy because in the Adar, it fell in Adar, because Adar, he knew Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. The Gemara says he didn't know, and Moshe Rabbeinu also was born in Zayin Adar. And to Kedai, Yom HaMisa, Shettechaper Aleida, the Yom HaMisa is starker, Yom HaLeida is starker than the Yom HaMisa, so the bad simon of the Yom HaMisa is knocked out by the good simon of the Yom HaLeida. Moshe's Leida brought such unbelievable to the Welt.
So much to
the Welt.
Yeah.
So Lamaisa, since the whole Nessa Purim came out through Zayin Adar, so it makes sense that we should celebrate Zayin Adar next to Purim, because the whole Purim happened in that same Adar. So why does it make sense to split Zayin Adar from Purim? The whole Purim came about because of the Schos of Zayin Adar. So why would you want to switch months?
That sounds very logical.
And he writes in his father's words, Divri pi chacham chen. The words of a chacham are chen. It's beautiful.
I'm confused though. What's the...
He wants to bring, it's sort of like a drasha. His father said, the Yavitz says, that my father, Chacham Tzvi, held that the Iker is to fast, when those that fast in Zayin Adar should fast in Adar Sheni.
Right.
Because he says like this, what happened by Haman? Haman threw the Pur.
And he thought it was a
And he
good
thought of
thing.
Adar Shemes. Lamaisa, he didn't know it was Adar Yom Shenoilim. And that's what caused that the whole Nessa Purim should happen. That really the Goy roll that Haman thought was to his direction. Really the Goy roll was the opposite. It was Dafkin Adar because it was Shenoilim.
Right.
So brought the whole Nessa Purim came about, the Schos of Moshe Rabbeinu.
Right.
Came out that it doesn't make sense to split up Zayin Adar and Purim. Zayin Adar should be an Adar Aleph and Purim Adar Beis. The whole Purim came about because Zayin Adar. So here we're not dealing with really what happened in the original Adar. He's just going and saying, doesn't make sense for us to split the two. Doesn't make sense to split these two ideas. They go together.
Why?
And Purim has to be on the second
Yeah,
Adar,
why should
because that's right next to Pesach.
Gula Gula.
Samach Gula Gula. So therefore all the mitzvahs.
Then the Yavitz writes, Li Talmidi Atzoyer, me, the young Talmud of my father, I feel it's Machloikis and Saita. Like we learned in Saita, according to the one opinion, said it was on Shana Muberes. According to one that says Shana Muberes, he sure was the first Adar. Moshe Rabbeinu's Adar. So we can't connect it to Purim. That year, that the story of Purim happened to be, it wasn't the Shana Muberes. But
the story of Purim, it's not Shana Muberes.
So it was the same month. Masha'enkin Zion, the original Zion Adar, we had the story in Gemara where you count about 3 months.
The Yom HaLedes, Moshe Rabbeinu. It came out, but that's only a machlokes.
The machlokes said, so I think it's totally this whole discussion.
So how do you know? Why would he? His emphasis would be on the Rishon, when in fact there's a machlokes inside it. Well, it's other Rishon or the Sheni. Why he's weighing more?
He says it's Sephardic.
No.
He's saying no.
It's connected to the mitzvah of Purim.
No. He
And
said
Purim is in other bays.
No, but
Yeah, but Moshe Rabbeinu.
But there was the Yom HaLeida. There it's the Yom HaLedes.
But you said the Yom HaMisa is the same day.
So we say the Pashtus. We say Mitzvah Yemecha Malei. was probably just like he was born in Adar Rishon. So Mastame doesn't say clearly, right? But he says Mastame we could toil in the Gemara and Saita. He's saying a vart. It doesn't say Kol in Saita when Moshe Rabbeinu was a stalik. But he's saying since there's an opinion that says it was a Shana Mubaris and was Ayin Adar Rishon, because that's how you calculate the 3 months from Chaf Aleph Nisan backwards. He said most probably he was also niftar in Adar Rishon because he wanted to make the cheshbon of the 220 years should be complete. And he brings also another opinion in Mechilta. Mechilta actually clearly says that Moshe Rabbeinu was niftar in Adar Rishon. There's a Mechilta says Moshe Rabbeinu was niftar in Adar Rishon. We only have about his Yom Holedus, there's an opinion it was Adar Rishon. But his Petita, we have a clear Mechilta which says that the Petita was Yom Holedus, is Ayin Adar Rishon. However, interesting by the way, the Mechilta brings a daya that Moshe Rabbeinu was a Stalik and Zayin Shvat, which is not Makubal. But as a Das Yochid, there's an opinion he brings down that he was actually in a Stalik and Zayin Shvat.
What's the Makar for that?
There's a Makar over there for Mechilta's Machlekes, but in Shas, every word's brought all over that Zayin Adar Zayin. Even the Mechilta says that it was Zayin Adar, then it brings another opinion that was Zayin Shvat. So L'maisa, the Poyel, he brings down that L'maisa you have the Trumas Hadeshin, and B'chlal, the minig is that you fast in the first Rishon, Adar Rishon, Zayin Adar Rishon. So my father felt it made more sense a second Adar, and I also see weight to it. But L'maisa, the way the Olam is being noyig has a lot of makaris to it, because you have the Mechilta, and the Gemara and Soit is mashma that way, and the Mechilta so clearly was the first Adar. So Sadeshin says the first Adar. So even though my father said Avart that it made more sense to be the second Adar, because Purim, the whole Maisa Purim.
How do they reconcile that? The
father never spoke about it. Like he just mentioned the Avart from his father.
Hold that. So how do they reconcile the fact that the
Shilsiyayim has a clear Mechilta? It's a clear no, because the year of Purim, who said was a Shana Mubaris? To look up the Gemara, there's a Gemara about it. But if you learn the year of Purim itself wasn't a Shana Mubaris.
Oh, okay.
So then it's a.
And then Purim has to be next to
L'maisa. I don't see that L'maisa there should be a machlokes. I think L'poyel that the way how people have to be noyig is you have to do the Iker yard site the first order. Someone who had. It was a Shana Pshuta, the yard.
Shana Pshuta?
Yeah.
Sure. But what day is it today?
Zion. Tonight's Zion.
What has to do with the second?
L'maisa by the Svarim bring out is a very interesting Ashkacha Avart before we go to Maidiv. Parashat Tetzaveh is the only, this week's Parashat is the only Parashat in entire Torah from when we start reading about Moshe that does not mention Moshe's name once. Not even one time is Moshe Rabbeinu's name mentioned in Parashat Tetzaveh. This is already brought down by Rishonim already, discussed it. Why was his name not mentioned? They say, Moshe Rabbeinu, Parashat Kisisa, we read about the Chet Egel. And the Eibush just said he wants to wipe out. He wants to wipe out Klal Yisrael.
Sorry.
Here, someone can pass this to me.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Shkoyach.
Right on the right. 1 second. Shana Mubarak.
What is that? Kids issue?
Yeah, this is what he says. He says, Shkoyach Baruch. He brings some Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and from the Ramah that we read before, that yard site has to be in the first month. And the second month, you should also say Kaddish. But the second month, you shouldn't take away someone else, the Amud, let's say, from someone who Chiyuv, whatever it is. Not such a Chiyuv the second month. It's a Chumrah. Now, Shekoyach. L'maisa. Let's see, what does he write about Bar Mitzvah? Bar Mitzvah is, you're right. Who said that? Rabbi Yosef said? Bar Mitzvah, they only make in the second month. to look up the Ramah. I'm not sure what the explanation for it is. Why would you wait till the second month? Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe we don't have mitzvahs. Match with the mahal.
You have to do Safek Daraisa.
Yeah, Adar, you should do it earlier. Maybe you should say maybe you shouldn't daven for the Amid, whatever it is, but
exactly.
Why shouldn't he do it for the first month?
Al Safek, you should do it Al Safek.
I don't know why.
Real bar mitzvah.
He brings from the Ramah in Siman Nun Hey. So you have to look up the Ramah in Siman Nun Hey.
No, but I mean to say is that it's a Safek whether it really is. So you'd have to wait. And Achanami, you would
tefillin, all mitzvahs.
Right, you would put on tefillin. He puts anyway on tefillin 2 months before.
Point to our minig, but the Velt.
The Velt also knows like a month, I think.
Okay. Some people only put on the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who puts on by the day?
Well,
a lot of people. We put on the day.
All right, but I'm saying if he was born in another region, if he was born in another region in a Shana Pshuta, so you're not doing it. Maybe he can't make a bracha. It's a suffix.
If he was born in Shana Pshuta, so he's saying over here that you have to do it to the
wait to the Shana to the second other.
Why is that?
What happens
to the because it's a suffix deraisa. You don't know if it's other region or other sheni, right? So he let's say you want to put him up with the Amid. He can't because you don't know if he is.
Right, but he doesn't say over here clearly you have to machmer all the chumras. Should be make sure that he also you have to make sure he does all the mitzvahs and everything. Okay. Mamaisa Pasha Tzav is the only thing. So the Svarim say the reason why Pasha Tzav does not say his name. Moshe Rabbeinu said to Hashem, Hashem told him, I'm going to wipe out all of Klal Yisrael, and I'm going to rebuild Klal Yisrael with you. From you, and make a whole new nation. You're the only one that stood with me. So Moshe said that I don't want this, and if you're not going to listen to me, to erase me out from the Torah. I want no portion of Torah. You're not going to take me as I'm going to be instead of the Klal Yisrael. The Rebbe's father, when he was Deidish this Pasha, so he said that Moshe Rabbeinu was so embarrassed. He felt so terrible that the Eibush should think that that because of him, he would be because the Eibush felt that he had Moshe Rabbeinu, so therefore he can get rid of Klal Yisrael. Moshe felt that his whole Metzias is actually bringing out a disaster for Klal Yisrael. So Moshe said, to wipe me out to be a sefer. So it says in Gemara that a klal of a tzaddik, which comes on a condition, even if the condition wasn't fulfilled, since he said a klala, or he said a neder, some of it's going to happen, because whatever a tzaddik says, something has to happen from it. So Maisa, since Moshe Rabbeinu said, you should wipe me out for the Sefer Torah, L'poyel Eibishter kept the Yidden alive, and he did Shuvah Salachti Kidvarecha. But since the Eibishter said it, Chazal say, so therefore there had to be Epis Vas in Torah where his name isn't mentioned.
To satisfy.
The concept, by the way, says in Torah, it says in Gemara itself, the concept that when a tzaddik says something, it has to have a roshim, it has to have an effect. That says in Gemara. But about this story, we showing and bring down that the effect of it was in Parashat Tzava. The style still remains, why is it Dafka Parashat Tzava? It should be later on Parashas, after Chet Egel, after Parashat Kisisa. Parashat Tzava is before we even heard about Parashat. The answer is, because Parashat Tzava, most of the years, Zayin Adar falls on a Parashat Tzava, like this week said today.
Wow.
So to bring out the Me'eda Nayim, the Chernobyl, and Matal Chernobyl, and the Sefer Me'eda Nayim points out that that's why, to bring out the Stalkus. So Moshe Rabbeinu's name is not mentioned in the Torah this week's Parasha, because this Parasha was a Stalkus. He didn't mean to say a different vart in the Rishonim. He meant to say that he agreed with the Rishonim, Kemuvan, that said that there's one Parasha in the Torah which has to be his name removed. But why was it this Parasha? Because this week is the week of his yard site. So when you show a yard site as a Stalkus and the person's name is removed, his name isn't here.
That should be a proof that's other Rishon rather than other Shem. That's your proof.
Yeah. So that's the nice. It always comes out.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. Very.
And anyway, right, the Rebbe says that the Ata is really more, it's the essence.
Yeah, in the Sichas of the Rebbe brings out that Lamaisa,
It's higher.
yeah, in the ending of the day, it brought out the essence of Moshe. Moshe, what is Moshe's connection? Where is it deeper? To Torah, to Klal Yisrael. So Moshe in his life was given over to two things. Torah and Klal Yisrael, that was his whole life. Now the Shaila becomes, what's greater? What's more important to Moshe Rabbeinu? Torah or Am Yisrael? And Moshe went and stood up for Klal Yisrael and said, take me out from the Torah. I want nothing to do with the Torah. If you go up at Klal Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu showed true leadership, that ultimately he was here to protect the flock, here to protect Klal Yisrael. And therefore Klal Yisrael is more dear to him and important than the Torah. Take me out of the Torah. I don't want any part of the Torah. If it's nothing to do with Klal Yisrael, I don't want to be part of the Torah. So that's why ultimately this parasha doesn't say his name, but really we're talking about Moshe the whole parasha. Va'ata the tzava, you should command, and everything's about Moshe. We just don't say his name, because name, in Chassidus, name, when I call someone a name, that's not referred to who he really is. When I say Ruvain, Shimon, does that tell me anything about who he is? Nothing. And not only that, when someone wouldn't live amongst people, he had no need for a name. You had no need for a name if you don't live amongst people. If you live on an island, you need a name.
Well, how do you address
somebody?
You
don't go for security.
I want to call you.
There's no one there to call you. You're an island.
You're the only one.
Only one in the island.
Oh, no, you don't need a name.
So the only one, you don't need a name. So name is just a method how other people can relate to you. So l'maisa, a person's essence is much deeper than his name. A person's essence is much deeper than his name. So Moshe Rabbeinu's essence, his true essence, is really brought out in this parasha. It doesn't say his name, not because it's lower. Pashtus, doesn't say his name because it's lower than name. He was a stal because he wasn't here. But in a deeper way, no name doesn't mean that we're going down a madrega. No name means we're actually talking about Moshe in a higher level. His essence of Moshe even above names.
Above his name.
Similar part, it says Chassidus Benegea Megillas Esther. Megillas Esther doesn't say Hashem's name once in Megillas Esther. It doesn't say Hashem's name once.
Well, why is that?
A good kasha. It's different reasons.
Esther means
There's
hidden,
practically speaking.
Practically
Was because the goyim didn't let. The goyim didn't let.
They censored it.
There was issues then. So Lamaisa, practically speaking, seems like it was a degrading. It was a problem. But Lamaisa in Chassidus and Kabbalah turns it around and says, Purim is higher than Hashem's name. It's deeper. And therefore it can even come down in places that are much more to. The Moida'ani. Moida'ani you're allowed to say in the morning before you wash an Egavasa because it doesn't have Hashem's name. So seemingly it's a very low thing, a low prayer. It doesn't have Hashem's name in it. But Chassidus goes and flips it around and says, specifically because it's higher than all names, that's why you're allowed to say it even before name. Because a tumah can't touch and can't come to this level. Regular levels of kedusha, tumah can affect, and therefore you can't say Hashem's name near the tumah because tumah can have an effect in it. So you can't mention Hashem in makom tumah. When there's madregas of the Eibishter, the etzim of the Eibishter himself,
Tum has no shaykhs.
Tum has no shaykhs. So you can mention, you're talking about Hashem, Moidani Lefanecha, we're talking to Hashem. Hashem himself, the way he is above all lower levels, which Tumah has no effect in that level. When it comes to revelations, what revealed, yes, at Hashem, Elokeinu, Melech Ha'olam, there you're mamish referring to Hashem in a revealed way. It's more exciting. But Lamaisa, the Atzvus of Hashem is above all these descriptions. You know, when we say we don't mention Hashem's name in the Beis HaKisei, doesn't mean Hashem is not doesn't know what's going on in the Beis HaKisei. He's not there, so someone can commit murder in the Beis HaKisei. You know, it's not an off-term place. The church is not an off-term place. A makom tumah. It's just from the atzvus of Hashem Himself is everywhere. So it's no kedusha lower to be feeling kedusha. You can't feel in a makom tumah kedusha. Kedusha can't be felt in a makom tumah. To be felt. But to say that the etzem of Hashem isn't there,
that's not true.
Yeah. Anyways, the Maisa, Schussi Yagan Leina V'Akol Yisrael.
Amen.